Architecture. According to the internet definition, it is the art or practice of designing and constructing buildings. And one style of architecture that stands out for me and my favorite is the classical Japanese architecture. And this is the one of the most distinctive characteristic of Japanese culture, on which it can be found in castles, temples, shrines, and also in homes. Japan's Shinto and Buddhist beliefs influence architecture right down to the residential level, with buildings reflecting a strong emphasis on human relationship with nature. This is evident in the focus on natural light in all the houses, as well as the use of wood in its raw form. One noticeable aspect of Japanese architecture is the common use of wood. Since ancient time, wood was given great respect by Japanese people and not covered by paint or other coatings when used for buildings. The nuts in woods are typically considered as decoration. Japanese cypress, cherry, Japanese cedar, and Japanese zelkova are the most used types of woods for buildings. The oldest wooden architecture in Japan is Horyuji Temple, which is built in the 7th century. And you can still see the beautiful temple after a long history of earthquakes and natural disasters. That's partly because of wood's ability of absorbing moisture and Japanese traditional carpentry, which allows them to build the buildings without using any nails and develop strong earthquake resistance. Another aspect is the flooring material. Other style of architecture use carpet as a flooring material, but mostly are just bare stone floors. Unlike in classical Japanese architecture, as a flooring material for traditional Japanese room, tatami mats are always used as a means of laying the floor. Tatami are traditionally made of rice straw covered with woven soft rush straw. However, nowadays tatami sometimes have compressed wood chipboards or polystyrene foam cores. Another distinct aspect is fusuma. Fusuma are used to divide large rooms into smaller private rooms. Fusuma are also considered as decoration of the room, and there are a number of masterpieces preserved to date, especially in castles, temples, and shrines. For example, Fusuma art in Nijo Castle, Nanzenji Temple, Daitokoji Temple Jokuin, and Chishakuin Temple in Kyoto are very famous, and some are designated as national treasures. Another noticeable aspect is irori. Irori is an open sunken hearth seat within a timber or tatami floor. Irori used to be as a standard fixture in Japanese farmhouses for heating the home, cooking, and boiling water. Irori is usually square and located in the middle of a room where people will gather for warmth and conversation. And lastly, distinct aspect of classical Japanese architecture is ingawa. Ingawa is like an outdoor corridor, which is a raised wooden or bamboo veranda that runs around the heights outside the edge of the building. Ingawa can be found in Japanese traditional houses as well as temples and shrines, and this is where people sit and look out in the garden. For me, architecture like this, I find it comfy and classy. The room looks simple, yet not shabby or underwhelming. It is spacious, which gives off a sense of freedom and not claustrophobic, but also has its function. Knowing that the nation's climate is very humid in summer, they make their houses and structure to be spacious for natural airflow and ventilation. Partner it with its roof that looks like crowns that shows their beauty and dominance of how elegant the structure is. There are basically 4 types of roof for Japanese traditional architecture: Hirizuma or gable roof, Yoshimune hip roof, Hirimuya hip and gable roof, and Hogyo pyramidal roof. But sadly, in these days, these classical architectures are rare to be seen due to modernization and also space issues where Japan is struggling right now. But still, there are some who still stands like Nijo Castle, Nanzenji Temple, Daitokoji Temple Jokuin, and Chishakuin Temple in Kyoto. These structures are meticulously cared, protected, and maintained.